What's up guys, my name is PixarDonks and welcome to my first ever video on the channel. I play Destiny 2 on Xbox and my goal with this channel is to provide you guys with creative builds, tips specific to my fellow console gamers, as well as cover niche topics I haven't seen anyone else cover. I hope to provide a unique take on Destiny 2 from the point of a console player, as I feel as though most current content creators within the community are currently located on PC. I play quite a bit of Destiny, and I follow the game closely, so I will try my best to make sure any content on here will be on topics I have yet to see and cover elsewhere. That is it for the intro. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's hop into the video. To start, let's look at a quick overview of the first topic I wanted to cover, which is why the new raid weapons are the perfect grind for any hardcore PVE player. It's no secret that the new Valve the Disciple raid weapons are pretty insane, and all 6 of them offer a role I feel is worth grinding for. There are plenty of videos covering the god role for each weapon, so I will not be going in depth. However, I will mention the roles I will be chasing for each gun. The real topic I want to cover here is how Bungie perfectly implemented a combination of the weapon crafting system, insane perk pools, as well as the addition of adept raid weapons to form the perfect storm for anyone looking to craft the ultimate weapon. These 3 traits combine together to give each raid weapon 4 tiers to chase after, and I will describe these tiers in depth later in the video. Let's now jump into the roles I will be chasing on each weapon. Hopping over to Late GG here. Once again, I will not be going super in depth into each weapon, as there are plenty of other guides already out there on YouTube that explain exactly what options are available in the perk pool. However, I will be going over each weapon and which role I will personally be chasing, as there, in particular on this set of raid weapons, are a bunch of unique perks and combinations that have never been seen before that make each weapon very strong. So hopping right into it here, we'll be starting with the Deliverance, the new legendary kinetic fusion rifle, obviously unique in its own right, as it is the first ever fusion rifle found in the top slot. What some people might not know, however, is that it is also the only special weapon that currently can roll this new perk right here, Chill Clip. That in mind, I will definitely be chasing Chill Clip in the 2nd slot, although there are also strong options such as Adrenaline Junkie. Combining with Chill Clip and synergizing really well, I will be chasing Demolitionist in this 1st slot. Every time you throw your grenade, you will reload the magazine, constantly proccing Chill Clip. I think it will make for a very strong special weapon option in the top slot. Moving on here, the least exciting in my opinion out of all the raid weapons, simply due to the existence in the game of many other strong SMGs. We have the Submission, legendary kinetic submachine gun. On the PvP front, we unfortunately have the multi-match, similar, exact same archetype, top slot weapon, better perk pool, so that automatically kicks this gun to the PvE front for me. In terms of PvE, we actually do have some solid options. In the 1st slot here, we have Overflow as well as Subsistence, and those can both be combined with Frenzy, Demolitionist, or Swashbuckler, depending on the build you're going for. Once again, nothing too unique here in the existence of other strong options such as Funnel Webs, Sorayas, or even exotic options such as Osteo or the Huckleberry are currently running rampant in the PvE sandbox right now. Overshadow this weapon a little bit in my opinion. Moving on here, we have the new legendary Glaive, one of the more desirable weapons I think in my opinion for a lot of people, as it only drops from the boss fight, and it's Ralk's weapon, the brand new raid boss. It's a legendary solar energy glaive. And coming down here to look at the perks, the unique perk that rolls on this weapon is found in the 2nd slot here, and that is actually Swashbuckler. I think this perk has the potential to be very strong, obviously on a primarily melee only weapon such as a glaive, and this perk synergizes extremely well with the perk found in the 1st column here, Grave Robber, melee final blows, reload this weapons magazine from reserves. So if you combine these 2 perks, you're constantly at ×5 Swashbuckler, you're constantly reloading the weapon. Easily the role I will be chasing. Moving on here, gun that excites me the most actually out of all 6 of these, the Forbearance. legendary arc energy grenade launcher, also known as the Salvager Salvo 2.0. I'm sure everyone has heard about this already, but once again, this weapon is unique in that it can roll chain reaction in the 4th column here. This is an extremely strong perk, and it synergizes really well with a bunch of the other perks, I think. So in the first slot here, to synergize with chain reaction, we have the likes of Unrelenting, Stats for All, Ambitious Assassin, as well as Steady Hands. And I think Steady Hands is actually a slept-on perk, especially on a grenade launcher where you're firing that shot, you're getting a bunch of kills with chain reaction, proccing Steady Hands, and allowing you to switch to your primary to clean up those kills. Personally, I will be chasing an Unrelenting chain reaction roll. I think Unrelenting combined with Soul Drinker, proccing an insane amount of health regen will be a crazy ad clear weapon. Obviously, chain reaction is insane in its own right, and I'm really excited about this weapon. This is one I'll be chasing for sure. Moving on here, another one of the really strong weapons in this raid. They're all strong in their own rights, but in terms of their pool, the Insidious, legendary arc pulse rifle, one of I believe four round burst pulses currently in the game. And you pretty much can't go wrong with any of the perks on this weapon. So first slot here, we have Dragonfly. This is an extremely strong perk on any ad clear weapon, and this combos extremely well with perks found in the second slot, such as One for All, Adrenaline Junkie, Rampage. And if you're not going for Dragonfly in the first slot here, you also have the likes of Stats for All, Demolitionist, Rapid Hit. Pretty much any of these perks that I just named synergize extremely well together. Personally, I'll be chasing Rampage and Dragonfly as my god roll. However, I think there are plenty of rolls you can chase after for this weapon. Finally here, and actually the only weapon I do not yet have, is the Cataclysmic Legendary Power, Solar Power Linear Fusion Rifle. And once again, this weapon can roll with some insane perks. I believe for the first time ever on a linear fusion rifle, we have 4 times the charm in the first slot here. And this synergizes extremely well with both high impact reserves as well as focus fury. Personally, I will be going for high impact reserves as it is easier to proc. You don't have to hit crits to proc it, unlike focus fury. However, I could see the case made for either. If you are using this weapon as more of an ad clear weapon, you also have the extremely strong Dragonfly perk here. And that combo with something such as Clown Cartridge would make for a formidable ad clear weapon, in my opinion. Now getting into the main topic of today's video, which is why these raid weapons will be the ultimate prize for any hardcore PvE player willing to grind. Because if everything goes according to how I think it's going to go, this is going to be a grind. Each of these weapons will have 4 tiers to grind for, and while the difference is not insane between each tier, in my opinion, it is the perfect balance between an extra reward for the hardcore player without making casual players feel underpowered by not being able to put in extra time. I will be using the grenade launcher, the Forbearance, as an example throughout my explanation. Let's start with a tier 1 weapon. This weapon is one that will drop from an encounter chest, in the case of the grenade launcher, the 2nd and 4th encounters, and will have random rolls. This is more than likely the tier of weapon you currently have in your inventory, unless you got lucky with red border drops. In my opinion, a perfect tier 1 weapon would roll with Unrelenting, Chain Reaction, as well as a minor spec. For many players, this tier weapon is more than enough, and I'm not sure if anyone would complain about the roll I just described. Prior to the addition of weapon crafting, this was the only tier weapon that existed. However, our options have expanded along with the addition of Witch Queen. After extracting the materials from 5 red border grenade launchers, you will then be able to work on leveling the weapon, unlocking new perks along the way. Eventually, you will be able to craft the perfect tier 2 weapon, which in my opinion would be enhanced chain reaction, enhanced unrelenting, as well as a minor spec. For many of the newly added craftable weapons in the game, this is the highest tier that can be unlocked. However, when the master version of Vow of the Disciple eventually goes live, tier 3 and tier 4 weapons will be able to be unlocked. A Tier 3 version of the weapon is similar to Tier 1, in that it rolls Unrelenting, Chain Reaction, but now in an Adept version, allowing for the addition of an Adept mod, such as Adept Big One spec. Finally, after collecting 5 red border versions of the Adept Grenade Launcher, leveling it up to unlock the desired perks, you will be able to craft the ultimate Tier 4 weapon. This weapon will be able to roll Enhanced Chain Reaction, Enhanced Unrelenting, as well as slot an Adept mod, such as Adept Big One spec. As you can see, the difference between each tier is very minor in nature, and for many it will not be worth the grind to increase the tier of their already god-rolled weapon. However, for the hardcore PvE player willing to put in the extra time, crafted Adept weapons will serve as the perfect tool for both in-game content as well as showing off to your friends. Thank you to everyone who made it to the end. This was my first ever video, and I hope I was able to provide some insight as to what the endgame PvE grind might look like going into the future. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for any and all future content, and comment down below, what tier 4 weapon will you be chasing first? Until next time, PixarDonks has left the building.